I had a really hard time post-COVID. Doctors take that oath where they say do no harm and whatever else the oath says. And I feel like, and I felt like, we have an obligation to get the students ready for the rest of their lives. You can't see me out there in like podcast time, but I'm nodding my head. They're not ready. They weren't ready. And I felt, I don't know, I had to really change how I think about it, but I felt like it was my response. I felt like I was the safety, like I was the last resort because I'm getting them as seniors. And so I think I was just pushing them too hard, or maybe I had high expectations, or maybe they didn't come through that time frame during the pandemic being held accountable.
Okay.
For whatever reasons, whether they had anxiety and their parents let them get away with stuff, or, we hear about these high schools who changed their grading policies during COVID. There was no testing. And when we were getting those kids in college, you could really see that they weren't coming in as prepared as they were in yesteryear. And I think because you're our generation. We're
Gen X.
Yeah, we're the helicopter parents.
Yeah,
we protected these kids from so much, and then they went away to college, and they're like, I don't know what to do. So a lot of my colleagues, we talk about it a lot. Like, we really had to change the way that we teach college students, especially here at Cal State Fullerton, where the majority of our students are first generation underrepresented backgrounds.
Oh, okay.
And it wasn't about lowering our standards, and I still don't think it's about lowering your standards. It's more about giving them what they need to succeed.
Okay.
And meeting them where they're at, is what I keep saying.
And do you feel like that's still happening? Do you still feel that?
Yes.
Oh, it is. So you're still getting like these COVID kids probably until.
So we were told we should expect the COVID kids for another 4 years.
Okay, that makes sense.
Because, that by that time they'll be out in the workforce. And I don't know if you've heard the statistics, but the class of 2024. So we're doing this interview in December of 2024. 6 out of 10 hires from the class of 24 have gotten fired.
I believe it.
Because they're just not ready. They don't have the wherewithal or the poise or the how to behave, the water cooler stuff.
They're just different kids.
They're different. It's different. And there was an article. It was on the news too. The Gen Zers declared that the new adult age is 30.
I believe it.
They said that. And then at the same time, though, it's really interesting. We're seeing that people aren't retiring at 65 like they used to. They're actually quitting the job that they've had, the hardcore corporate job, and then they're having a second life, and they're doing something different. And so I was thinking about it the other day, and I thought, well, actually, it makes sense if we're going to live another 50 years and we're not retiring, then they have the right to extend their childhood another 10 years.
That makes sense.
I think that might be something we're seeing and we're negotiating and navigating.
Yeah.
Because they're coming in at 21, and that used to be the adult age.
Yeah. Well, when I was a kid, my grandfather always told me that, 18, you're out of the house.
Yeah.
That was all my friends. They were 18 out of the house. You just
Yeah.
had to survive on your own.
Yeah.
Whether you had a plan or not.
Yeah. So not anymore. A lot of them are living at home.
Yeah.
I've learned from a friend. So I have my kids on an allowance. I have one the one who's out of college, he doesn't get any. I mean, he just moved back home for a little while. But my son who's in college, he has an allowance, and it's not a lot. I try to keep them uncomfortable so that they keep working. So he has to work part-time if he wants to go shopping and eat nice food and all that kind of thing. But I just heard from a friend of mine, and she says, my kids keep using my credit card. And I was like, why did you give them their credit card? And she said, well, what else was I supposed to do? I said, get them their own credit card with a $100 limit.
Yeah.
And she said, oh, I never thought of that. I said, what do you mean? She said, oh, they could use whatever they want. Like, it's an unlimited spending spree.
Oh.
So no 20-year-old is going to be motivated to leave that cozy nest.
I know.
It's a transition.
You know what is a transition for me? Because, well, I